Hey, y'all need a break. Listen to these stories from r/am I the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for choosing one of my sons? My husband, 68 male, and me, 65 female, have 3 children, 38 male Steve, 37 male Ryan, and 35 male Owen. My husband was a standout athlete and went to college on a scholarship to play football. Steve and Owen were also very athletically gifted and spent a lot of time with their dad playing sports. Ryan was into debate club and drama club. My husband spent most of his time with them and regularly excluded Ryan. When Ryan was 14, he made the comment to me that he probably wouldn't join any clubs in high school since his dad wouldn't be proud of him since it wasn't sports. My husband overheard and was annoyed by that statement, but for 3 months he spent some one-on-one time with him, but once sports season started, that time came to an end. He did end up joining speech and debate club. My husband attended a handful of meets for. When he made state, he was ecstatic. We invited both families and I told my husband he'd better be there with our 2 sons. They showed up, but halfway through left to tour the college campus because the tournament was boring. They ended up missing our son presenting. Ryan was devastated, and he told me that when he graduated, he was moving for college and not coming back. He ended up going to college out west and joined their forensics and debate team, and won a national championship. I attended, but his dad chose to take Steve and Owen to a hockey game instead. Ryan ended up in law school and is now a junior partner at a firm. He got married a few years ago and just gave us our first grandchild last year. Our son allowed us to meet our grandson, but then told us that he doesn't plan on moving back, ever, or on visiting our hometown anytime soon, as he doesn't want any of his kids around my husband and his brothers, because of the favoritism. My husband was livid and told Ryan it was time for him to grow up and stop blaming him for his issues. My husband is now angry because he feels like Ryan is being petty and stubborn and ridiculous. I finally had enough of his whining and told him that I had warned him about his exclusion of Ryan and blatant favoritism for his brothers over him, and that I have no sympathy for him now that Ryan has decided to cut him out. I told him he needs to go to therapy and work this out and his issues there. I've been out west 3 times since without my husband, because he feels Ryan is being ridiculous and he's still angry at me for supporting Ryan and not defending him when he said he showed favoritism. He used our other sons to try and guilt me into talking to Ryan about being immature and causing a rift, but I said I don't feel like it's my job to defend something I warned him about years ago. They told me I was being overdramatic and now they see where Ryan got it from. I told them they were allowed their opinion, but from then on, I was no longer hosting family holidays and they could fend for themselves. I went out west over Easter and spent with Ryan and his family. My husband is claiming I'm showing favoritism now and that I'm an a-hole. So, am I the a-hole? Edit. I went to almost every game I could with Steve and Owen, and I spent individual time with them as well. Ryan's meets and events were far less than Steve and Owen's and I was there for them as well. I did not neglect my other sons for Ryan. Even up until a few weeks ago, I was still spending time with my sons and had their significant others over for dinner at least once a week. Edit 2. I'm getting asked about my other sons and their relationship with Ryan. Surprisingly, my sons always got along, even in high school, despite the fact that Ryan wasn't into sports. Ryan, however, was popular because he was in student government, was a lead in multiple of the school plays, and people genuinely liked him. His brothers never shunned him and they often played video games together, hung out together, and I never saw any instance of Steve or Owen really say or do anything negative toward Ryan, well outside of normal sibling fighting that is. I even asked Ryan about this after I was shocked at their reaction after I canceled the holiday gathering, and he said they were always good to him, and in fact, Steve often tried to shield him from my husband's judgment. I think their reaction after my husband tried to guilt-trip them was out of a sense of duty and loyalty to him, because they didn't want to lose their status as the favored sons. I know both sons have met their nephew and have over the years visited Ryan separately and together. Ryan flew Owen out quite a bit after he finished rehab and he spent a lot of time trying to help him. I'm hopeful that Steve and Owen's anger is more at the fact that I canceled the holidays and that they'll wake up and realize Ryan has done nothing wrong. Not the a-hole. Husband is clearly still showing favoritism and refused to learn from mistakes. So now he's losing opportunities with Ryan and grandkids at his own fault. Instead of manning up, guys like him seem to have small man issue. He doubled down and called in his favoritism and got the favorite sons to gang up on you, which eventually pushed you away towards Ryan who is treating you fairly. Calling this, you playing favorites, is really a joke and also pathetic, since you're not giving Ryan anything like how he does with the other sons. Am I the a-hole for compelling my husband to include our daughters more in his hobbies instead of just our son? I have 3 children, 2 twin girls, 8, and 1 boy, 5. My husband had always preferred a son but he remained neutral when our first 2 were daughters. Don't get me wrong, he loves our daughters, but somehow has this poor misunderstanding that they would not be able to enjoy the things he likes because they are girls, and leaves it to me to bring them out or engage them. Before, he at least used to involve them in fishing or soccer and his other hobbies, but after my son was born, my husband completely stopped engaging my daughters in his hobbies and only involves our son. He leaves the bulk of it to me because they have more in common with me. I involve all three of my children equally in whatever I do, be it sports or gardening, or even teaching them coding. I'm in tech. It is quite disheartening to see the indifference, and my girls are maturing fast and I am worried they will catch on to the idea that they are lesser than. I have communicated multiple times and suggested that when he takes our son out to fish or do sports, bring our daughters too so they can learn, but he says he prefers one-on-one bonding sessions with our son and communication with our girls, and that he can't change his parenting style. Our girls are athletically inclined as well. I used to be in competitive tennis for most of my schooling years and I train both of them and my son every Saturday or Friday depending on my free time. Last Saturday there was a community football game which was set up as part of a charity with a mini carnival. I was shocked to find out that my husband bought only 2 tickets for him and our son, even though there were plenty available for our daughters to join. Even if he believed they wouldn't have enjoyed the game, they could have participated in the carnival. In that anger, I bought 3 tickets last minute and brought our daughters along as well, but sat separate and enjoyed the carnival and game by our own means. Ironically enough, my husband thought I was being condescending by doing that, even though I was giving him a taste of his own medicine. I might be the a-hole for reacting like that, but after multiple failed avenues for communication, I decided to resort to underhand pettiness. He also told me after that it is not that he doesn't care for our girls, but just that he does not have anything in common with them, which boils my blood, even if, as I said, both of our daughters are very inclined in sports and love spending time with their father. Edit. I appreciate the advice and expertise received. I do plan to show this post to my husband. Maybe a multitude of perspectives could do him some good. I have suggested couples counseling before, which my husband was not interested in. As mentioned in the thread below, regardless, I will try again to convince him, perhaps get personal therapy too so that he can work through any issues he might have. I don't think my husband is misogynistic, but after reading through the judgments, I do agree that he might have some biases and misconceptions that need changing before it severs the relationship he has with our daughters. I love all my children equally and want them to have a wonderful relationship with their dad as I did with mine. I know he can make a change if he tried. Thanks once again. Couples counseling. That's what you two need. He's never going to hear it from your woman mouth. Your husband is being an a-hole to the girls and raising a spoiled special entitled son in the process. He will ruin all 3 kids with this crap. Not the a-hole. I have suggested this idea on more than one occasion. He says he does not wish to partake in it and that it is embarrassing to him, and would make him look like a bad parent, even though I reassured him that he is not, and that they will only help us through fixing some of his misconceptions about our daughters. He sure sounds like a bad parent to me. And he is a bad parent to all 3 children. He's turning his son into the golden child, a toxic dynamic. He is teaching his son that there is only one way to perform masculinity, which is toxic and dangerous to the son's well-being. Lastly, he is cramming the kid so hard into a box that if his son doesn't share his dad's interests as he grows up, it's going to be really tough. The girls are dealing with sexism, obvious favoritism of their brother, missing out on a relationship with their father and other things. He is a bad parent to all 3 kids. The OP needs to acknowledge that, and stop trying to pacify him with this good parent nonsense, or she will be failing her kids too. OP, change the narrative. It's not, he's a good parent. It's, he's being a bad parent, but I believe he has the capacity to be a good parent if he puts in the work to changing his attitude and actions. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom and my sister I'll uninvite them to my wedding if they don't leave my fiancée alone about her appearance? I'm getting married next month. We are keeping it small, just immediate family and a few close friends in the park on a Friday afternoon. 16 guests total plus the officiant and the photographer. For her job, my fiancée works in a lab that sterilizes medical instruments and surgical equipment. There are strict requirements to work there in terms of appearance and the dress code. They aren't allowed to wear any makeup at all, any kind of nail polish or fake nails, or any kind of perfume/cologne/body spray or other scented products. If you do show up with any of that, you are sent home. My fiancé tells me, since they are covered from head to toe with all their skin and hair covered, no one bothers with trying to look good at work. They have to wear scrubs, a protective gown, booties over their shoes, a hair net, a face mask, glasses, a face shield and double gloves. I have been dating her for almost 2 years and living with her for a year, and I have never seen her wear makeup. I honestly don't care if she doesn't, because she is comfortable with how she looks. She hasn't bought or worn it in 15 years because of her job. My mom and my sister are unhappy she isn't going to wear makeup for the wedding. They say she will look washed out and not good in the photos. We did hire a professional photographer for the wedding. It was our biggest expense, but we want to have nice photos. He has photographed hundreds of weddings and he took our engagement photos. In our engagement photos, my girlfriend didn't wear makeup and she looks fine. It was taken in the same park at the same time of day as our wedding will be. He is aware we are keeping our appearances simple and my fiancé is not wearing makeup, and he said he can make it work like he did with our engagement photos. At first I thought my mom and my sister just wanted her to look her best in the photos even if I didn't like the looking not good dig. I showed them the engagement photos but they weren't placated. They didn't let it go. My complexion, hair, and eye color are the same as my fiancé and I said I wasn't wearing makeup either. This is where I got angry because both my sister and my mom said it doesn't matter what I do, because men look fine without makeup whereas women don't, so it only applies to my fiancé and not me. My fiancé said it was up to me how I handle it. I told them if they mention the subject again or say anything to my fiancé again, I will uninvite them to the wedding. I don't even know why they care so much. But after I said I would uninvite them, they were not happy and now both of them are royally mad at me. They're saying I shouldn't mistreat or talk to family this way when they were just trying to help. Also, as a man, I don't understand why this issue is important. Not the a-hole. This is your first opportunity to teach them how to behave in regards to your marriage. Use it wisely. Marriage aside, they were already massive a-holes for that effing "men look fine by default but women need makeup" misogynistic bullcrap comment. It baffles me that we're in the year of our Lord 2022 and people still say crap like that. Not the a-hole. Good for you for standing up for your fiancé. It's her face. Nothing to do with your mom or sister. Be warned. They will always be like this with her. Edited to add, stop attributing good intentions to this. They are not trying to help. They are trying to impose their ideals on your fiancé. It's none of their business. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments.